However, we don't obsess over the Dow. We're down today, and one concerns that, maybe we're kind of petering out a 4-week rally that could, will not see the end of a 4th week of that rally. So what does that mean, especially coming as it does with a small business survey that's out? Small business guys have big worries about the future, and they're cutting back. That mirrors much the same we've seen out of the National Financial Board and all these other mid-sized to even big company CEOs who are sort of batting down the hatches. I want to stress, not all of them. Some are very optimistic, but most are not. I think that's fairly safe to say. Suzy Welch joining me now. That could be a problem depending on when their concerns blow up, right?
Right. I mean, depending on what side you're on, it could be a concern. Look, what small business people are expressing with this lack of confidence is that they're uncertain. They're uncertain about the election. They're uncertain about regulation. They're uncertain about the minimum wage going up. And they're uncertain about what's happening in China, because many small business people may have moved their manufacturing to China because they operate so close to the margin, they need to bring their costs way down. So they're in this environment where it feels again suddenly like there's zero visibility. And
wait a minute, how would they feel about a Donald Trump who said, I would slap tariffs on China, they keep pulling this. I would get rough with Mexico if they keep pulling what they're doing. He's raising hackles across the globe.
Yeah.
What about with these?
So, I have a theory that nobody is paying attention to Donald Trump's actual policies, such as they were. So when he says, I'm going to slap tariffs here and I'm going to do, they say, the details will get worked out when he gets there. What I like is his strength. What I like is his toughness. I like his loving America. He feels more like me than any of the other candidates. And
they don't care that he hasn't really spelled a lot of that out. He's vacillated on some of this.
Because Americans know from experience that you can sit there and talk about all your policies and all your positions.
Well, you're right about that. And what politician doesn't change his or her mind? And
then they get to Washington, it all sort of falls to pieces, or it gets negotiated and moved around. And so people are tired of that. They're actually looking for somebody who sort of shares their general, their feelings about America and their toughness. People feel, especially evangelicals and people who are social conservatives, look at Donald Trump and they think, you know what, I think right now our culture is in war with Satan, and he's the guy to take Satan on. He's the strong. I mean, I honestly think that's
but I've always argued that the secret behind his success, it's not, is he conservative, nothing. I don't think that's what's flying here. I think Americans are tired of nothing getting done, and they see in a pragmatic businessman someone who can get stuff done and will strike deals. Now, they might not be ideal deals,
right,
but he has shown hints of that pragmatism, even when it comes to immigration, which rankles some on the conservative side, but that he could be a bigger deal maker than we give him credit for.
I think they like the deal making, and on something on a deeper level is they like the fact that he doesn't apologize. I mean, there's people who are just sorry, sick and tired of having to apologize for being American.
I think he could work in Washington. That style, that demeanor.
Look, once you become president, you're the boss, and you think, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be elected, but if he got there, suddenly when you become president, everybody is your friend. I mean, I don't think he's going to get there and have the same reaction as when he's on the.
But your husband still likes Ted Cruz.
He does.
He was one of the first, Jack Welch, to see the possibilities in Ted Cruz. Yet when I talk to Republicans, a lot of them, it's not fair. I'm right. I know these are all personal gut checks they do. They seem to hate Cruz more than they do Trump.
Well, I feel like, Cruz, we know he's been in Washington, and he has definitely said, I'm not making a deal with you. I don't do that. I came here to do what I promised. And I think that he has a record in Washington as a person who has stood up on principle. And so he has made a...
Trump is a deal maker, and we'll get some. So I guess it's going to be on people's taste.
Yeah. I mean, well, or how much they have had experience with Cruz getting in the way of something that they want. I mean, there is a very... And this is why there's so much uncertainty, is that, who are you going to choose between? It looks like it's a Cruz-Trump race now. Which one of these are you going to pick? For a lot of people, that's neither one is their first choice.
If the street were looking for something that would be reassuring the financial community, would it be either of those guys or the other two?
Well, the street right now, I mean, there is an element. No, there's an element on the street that says we know Hillary, and Hillary will come around. But I think right now everybody's scratching their head.
Yeah, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Suzy, so good seeing you.
Thank you.